Hey ladies, how are y'all? Um, I know it's late for me anyways. Some of y'all it's not too late. But my husband and two girls went to camp and I have Jeremiah by myself and he does not want to go to bed, so he may pop in here in just a minute and decide to go live with me. So during all these storms and stuff, I seen a post from one of the judges here in town, and one of the lines in it was that somebody moved here thinking that this was the land of milk and honey, and he said, well, it's not always milk and honey. Sometimes the milk sours and sometimes the bees sting you. And I got to thinking on that. Hey Robin. And how many times have we thought that we should be in the land of milk and honey, but we don't feel like it? But we've accepted Jesus and we say we follow him, but we're still not getting the results that we think we should be getting. So maybe we're I know in one of the recipes you can make buttermilk out of regular milk and vinegar. So maybe we're putting vinegar in our milk and it's spoiling it because we're putting our hands back in what Jesus wants to do for us. He's saying, here is the milk that I promised you, and here's the honey that I promised you, but we're not always calling on him and we're not always living for him. He has all these names. He has Redeemer. He's redeemed us. He went to the cross for us. He didn't have to, but he did. He's a deliverer. It's bread of life. It says that he is the bread of life and you should never go hungry. Lord of Lords, King of Kings, only begotten Son, wonderful Counselor, mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, Lamb of God, Emmanuel. I mean, I could keep on going on and on. But why, if we don't feel at peace, why wouldn't we call on the peacemaker? Why wouldn't we call on the Prince of Peace? If we feel like something's bothering us and we feel like something's not right, we're having anxiety or we're having anger, why wouldn't we call on the deliverer? But instead we're remembering milk and honey, the land of milk and honey, and we don't have the milk and honey that we think we should. Maybe the honey's not flowing fast enough and you decide you're going to go kick the beehive and get some more honey. Well, guess what? You just got stung because you put your hands in what Jesus is wanting to do for you. Instead of calling on him, you took it upon yourself. So it just kind of made me think, this judge was like, it's the land of milk and honey, and he's like, but it can spoil sometimes. Well, it doesn't spoil if we don't put our hands in it. If we don't add the vinegar to it, then it didn't do, it didn't spoil. The bee's not going to sting us if we're not putting our hands in it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to go through a trial. We may go through a trial and we may be surrounded by bees. But the Lamb of God, the wonderful counselor, he will protect us from those bees. It got me to thinking Jeremiah got stung by 2 wasps today, and he was crying about it, and it was right here on his neck, and they whelped up pretty good, but he was okay. He got stung, but we put medicine on it and he was okay. So even if we do get stung, we can still call on the Lamb of God to help us. We can still call on him to come fix it. But if you keep on doing it, he's probably going to tell you, here you go. You made this. You got the bees. I'm going to take my honey for a minute. And then he'll give it back whenever you decide, hey, I am going to turn my life completely over to you. I'm going to take my hands out of this. I'm going to stop going to the world for the things I need. I'm going to call on Jesus for the things I need. Those are my thoughts for today. It's just one of those things that, why do we, with all the kids gone and my husband gone today, I'm used to him taking the trash down, and I take that for granted. So today I had to drag 2 big trash cans down the driveway because guess what? It's trash day and he wasn't here. So that makes me grateful for what he does. So maybe if you are looking for your land of milk and honey, it's there. You're just, maybe you're taking it for granted. I mean, you can go from one side to the other. One side you're putting your hands in it and you're messing it up. The other side, it's so good. The milk is flowing and the honey is flowing, and you take it for granted. So just evaluate your life and see where you're going wrong or where you're going right, and where you're not giving credit where credit is due. So I love each of you. Good night, and I will see some of y'all tomorrow night.